There's one thing in life that's extremely important to protect.
I always protect. I wear a.
Yeah. It's not that.
Oh, okay.
It is more important than that. It's your mind. It's the 12th of February.
Beautiful.
So keep constant guard over your perceptions, for it is no small thing you are protecting, but your respect, trustworthiness, and steadiness, peace of mind, freedom from pain and fear. In a word, your freedom. For what would you sell these things? Okay, that was Epictetus discourses. Hustle culture is getting thrown around a lot, that you have to work 18-hour days to be successful. There are some bosses that put high demands on their salespeople and they expect the world from them. I think it is really important. I'm not saying that you shouldn't maybe do a little bit of work outside of your expected hours. I know that a lot of salespeople, if their job is 9 to 5, they'll get in 8 till 6 and they'll do that graph. And the best salespeople typically put a little bit more in than other people, because if you're like Kobe and you're getting up at 3 in the morning and going shooting hoops while everyone else is sleeping, you're probably going to be one of the greats, and that's what it takes to be a high performer. But I think there is something powerful about being able to switch off. And once the laptop goes down and you leave and you go home and you're with your friends, your family, whatever it is, you don't need to be worrying about work. And especially in the B2B world, you shouldn't be worrying about kind of sales calls and prospects at 8, 9 o'clock at night, or replying to them. There was something I do just before I get into the house. So I'll get home and I'll just take a moment and I'll just breathe. And I know that I have to step into a new character. When I get home, I'm a partner, I'm a father. I'm not the boss anymore. I'm not the businessman. I'm not the salesperson. I need to switch off from them. And there was something that police officers used to do, and I've heard interviews that after being around crime scenes all day and looking at dead bodies, they would snap out of character, and they knew that when they took that coat off and they put it on the hook and they'd shout something and they'd say something like, "Honey, I'm home," and bang, they were back to being the father, back to being the family man, and they were no longer that character that they just played. So we all wear different hats in our life, and it's so important to switch off when we are outside of that role. What's your take on that?
I love it. I think I always think, I've got a commute to work, and I think probably a lot of people listening to this have got commutes as well, and almost treating the commute as an on switch on the way in and an off switch on the way out. So the on switch being, I might listen to a podcast about maybe something that I'm trying to learn more about or get better at, or something that I find interesting, but certainly that's going to start the brain firing, start thinking the right way before I get there and get the ideas flowing. But on the way out, it might be more, I'm going to listen to some music that I really like, or I'm going to maybe listen to something funny instead and just turn that off on the way home. And then by the time I get through the door, I lock the door, I come in, and like you say, it's a very like, now I'm dad and husband, and we can forget that. But I know a lot of people, I've worked with a lot of people who really struggle with that. And I've only ever worked in B2B, and we've said this before, in B2B, it can wait.
Yeah,
it can wait. It doesn't have to be let's work every hour, God consent. Especially when you're watching people who are sat with their families in the evening going through spreadsheets. Well, not only can spreadsheets be automated now, but they can wait. What do you need to do that for now? Like, what's the reason? And that's the question that you want to be asking yourself, I think, in those moments. What is it that I'm trying to compensate for? What's the external thing I'm looking for? Am I trying to do that spreadsheet that someone says, wow, look at you working every hour, God can send? Is it a signaling thing of you want people to see you as someone who works hard? And if that is the case, why is that? There's this great thing that my wife always talks about around, there's a big difference between being busy and being productive. We all like to look how busy I am, but actually being productive tends to look like something totally different.
Yeah, and sometimes there's so many things that you can do, and then if you are working ridiculous hours, and this is something I struggled with in the early days of the business. I was working late nights, I was working weekends, but what was I actually doing? What was actually getting done? What was moving the needle? I just felt like I had to be doing lots, but actually I found that having that time to rest and recoup and protecting my peace of mind is so much more powerful. So when I'm in work zone, I'm like, right, let's go hard on this. A lot of salespeople experience burnout. And I think especially when they're like new to a role. So the first 3 months, they'll hit it so hard and then all of a sudden I'm burnt out. I can't come back from this. Like what do you see with salespeople, like kind of speeding ahead like a steam train? What do you see, and what can they be doing to kind of avoid that?
Well, look, we're like any other sales team out there where you can see the live stats, can't you, of what's happening, which is a great thing in a lot of ways. I can see the live stats, see what everyone's up to. But for new salespeople, they're saying, well, I'm going to do so much more output than they're going to do. Again, could be great, but high performance is about finding what you can do consistently, not what you can do sporadically. Yeah. So if I can then just, I basically have these moments where I'm a quote unquote high performer. I'm doing more than everyone else, but I'm only doing it for 2 weeks. And then I'm having a week of feeling a bit burnt out. And then I might call in sick when I'm not really sick, just as a bit of a mental health day. Then I come back and do it for 2 more weeks and I'm back up. Oh, but then I'm having that week again. Actually, then you're borrowing all those different weeks from the year when it'd be easy to find the baseline of what performance upside, optimal performance, where you're doing things, you are moving the needle, but you can do it consistently, repeatedly, predictably.
Yeah, I love that. And a piece of advice I'll give to salespeople, and we give it to our own team, is, do you know what I mean? We're still at the start of the year. Look at your calendar for the year, okay? What do I want to do? What do I want to achieve? And what are the blocks? What are the breaks? Typically, I find that I start to feel burnt out around week 5. Okay, so at the back end of week 4, I'm taking a day.
Yeah.
Okay, mid-year, I'm taking a week. Like, plan it out. Don't just wait for it to happen and then crash and burn. Plan out the year and know kind of, have that self-awareness and assess yourself and work on how do I make sure that I'm equipped for high performance.
Right.
I've been Jack Frimson.
I've been Zach Thompson.
Remember, you will die.
We're going to need a bigger loaf.